2013, I had the immense honor and privilege of beginning work as a compositor on the 2D animated project Hullabaloo for director and animator James Lopez. What started as an Indiegogo campaign asking for $80,000 to produce one short film ended up raising over $470,000 in 35 days. Since then, the road has been a long one, but we've produced 4 short films that we plan to use to sell a feature film or series to one of the big studios. Today, episode 1 is available on YouTube, so if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and pause this video, check it out, and come on back, because we're about to take a look at how we put together some of the shots from episode 1 with the director himself, James Lopez. Hey James, how do you feel? The Hullabaloo's out.
I feel great, actually. I feel really, really great. It's been wonderful. I mean, the response has been incredible so far, and I'm really happy and relieved, quite honestly, after all this time.
Episode 1 is available online now for everybody to check out, so if you haven't seen it already, go check it out at the link in the description. But we're going to go ahead and look into how we did some of these shots.
I guess we could probably start with this shot here. I mean, this is one of those shots that probably more to it than people realize, and I really wanted to kind of provide for everyone, is just to know that, you know, what kind of work was involved in all of this, especially the details that might even go unnoticed.
I think everything in this shot, the dashboard and the gears on the hood, I believe that was 3D rendered by Grant and his team. They rendered out the car with all its color and texture. And what I did after the fact was I took those models into Blender and created the headlight pass. So you see here, you see the headlights from Jules's car wrapping around the texture and contours of Veronica's car.
What's nice about this too is that as you're explaining to it, I'm actually learning. You know, I know you would, kind of show up and you would say, "Hey, James, what do you think about this?" And I take a look at it and I say, "Yes." Like, yes, thank you. Yeah, this is something where, you know, I wanted it to feel that he walked outside and saw like a UFO. Like, what is this? Like, he's never seen an actual car before, you know?
We did use some atmospheric elements from Action VFX. Anytime I wanted to use something that was, say, a live action stock element, I didn't want it to be something that would draw too much attention to itself, something kind of soft in the background. Kind of how they did some stuff in like the Lego movie. They could do some atmospheric fog from time to time, but when they used something that was an element like water or fire, it was all represented with actual Lego bricks, right?
Yeah, so that was really cool. Yeah,
so they stayed in the world, in the world physics. And I tried to do something like that here too, where maybe atmosphere doesn't necessarily need to be 2D drawn. Things like the lens flare coming off of the car, those were using Video Copilot's optical flare system. There's a lot of effects in here that originally we started to generate with particle systems that really ended up just looking better 2D animated too by hand. And those were some great elements to work with as well.
Actually, now that we're talking about that, I think we do have an old version of the shot where the car rockets up out of the canyon. That is an example of you taking my little puff cloud, and personally, I liked it, and we stayed with that for a long time. And I think you even convinced me. You said, well, if you have time, this should really be hand-drawn. There's technically like 3 different layers of smoke there. There's the brown one in the foreground, and then there's the white steam in the background. I think there's that main column of steam. And my inspiration for all of this really goes all the way back to Disney's production of Pecos Bill and how they treated the smoke and dust, you know, back in the 40s and stuff. I really liked that look. And so that's what I really, you know, wanted for this.
This is still one of my favorite shots that we did. I also took this into Blender and built a lot up around it too, and was able to get the headlights to give me this atmospheric lighting and everything too. That was a real fun thing to work out there. And you can see the 2D waterfalls coming down on the sides as well.
The puffs of smoke coming out of the smokestacks on Veronica's car, those are hand-drawn to kind of sell the idea that these, you know, smoke puffs, clouds, they rise up and then they're swept away really quick because of the speed, you know. This is another one we could show like, you know, what the first tests of this look like with just blocks representing the cars, just to get the overall pattern and to see that eventually turn into something like this.
Here's a fun rendering trick that you might appreciate too. The reflection in Veronica's windshield there is actually just the background rendered out, but then I have it played in reverse.
Oh, I see, right?
So for anybody who hasn't seen, for the small percentage of people who haven't seen it yet, and want to find out more information about Hullabaloo and maybe what you're doing, where can they go?
We have a website, hullabaloo-movie.com. Any promotional or additional or behind-the-scenes material may be released on my YouTube channel, which is James Lopez Animation on YouTube. And we also have a Facebook page for the fans as well. And
I'll include the links in the description below, and everybody can find you there. All right, James, thanks so much for doing this debrief, I guess.
We should do more of them, as the other ones come out. You could get really into it, couldn't we?
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot of really exciting stuff for episode 2 and 3, which nobody's seen episode 3 yet. So that's going to be a really exciting one, too. So until next time, everybody, bye.
Bye.
That was just a small slice of a much longer conversation where we talk about the tools, techniques, and theory behind animation, as well as share some of our personal behind-the-scenes stories about the making of Hullabaloo. All of which I'll be releasing over the coming weeks in a series of their own videos, so if you want to check that out, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification so you don't miss out on that. I've been Jake, and as always, remember to reframe what's possible. And check out one of these videos over here, or wherever it is, I don't know.